Away from there now, Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party has insisted that Samuel Anyanwu remains the National Secretary of the party. Speaking at a press conference at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, Ibrahim Abdullahi said following a restraining order issued by the Appeal Court in Abuja, Anyanwu is the authentic National Secretary of the party. The Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, had on Thursday issued an order directing parties in the crisis to maintain status quo ante bellum pending the hearing of an application by Anyanwu seeking to stay the execution of the Appeal Court judgment that declared Udeokoye as the Secretary of the party. Abdullahi also disowned the comment by the National Publicity Secretary Debo Oluguagba on the political crisis in Rivers State. Let's cross live now to Port Harcourt in Rivers State and speak to the National Publicity Secretary, Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi. Thank you so much for your time, Abdullahi, for joining us. The Court of Appeal on Thursday has ordered all parties to maintain the status quo ante bellum. That is to say, before the crisis. Can you clarify what this means in the context of the PDP's leadership dispute?
Well, thank you for having me. It's simply the position of the law, and as a law-abiding party, it's bound to adhere with order that it has received, not just of the Court of Appeal yesterday, execution said in the background that the PDP to adhere to the status quo and to remain inactive. Secretary to revert to allowing him to continue as the National Secretary of the party. But there was earlier an order on Wednesday, the 15th of January from the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. That was a restraining interim injunction also to the PDP, and we were served. So you expect as a party we would adhere to the order so that we don't appear as people who are on their observing the rule of law. All right. So that was exactly what informed the press address earlier today.
All right. We understand Senator Anyanwu's case is pending before the Supreme Court to upturn an appeal court judgment earlier against him declaring Okoye as a secretary. Since this latest ruling by the appeal court said all parties should maintain status quo ante bellum, why do you still maintain that Anyanwu remains the secretary of the PDP?
Because that is the interpretation that phrase. That the order implies a judgment that was earlier obtained. By the way, it was a declaratory judgment unenforceable in law from the Enugu Division. A court of coordinate jurisdiction, this time from Abuja Division, has come up with the latest order us from taking any action with regards to its earlier judgment. Then it's behoven on us as a party and as people that are governed by the rules to order, which is the latest order. So as a party, it's only expected of us to oblige, and that is what we simply did.
Okay. You've distanced yourself from a comment made by the National Publicity Secretary Debo Oluguagba regarding the political crisis in Rivers State, that he has accepted the court ruling annulling the local government election and ward congresses. Could you elaborate on why you've chosen to disown those remarks? So what is the position currently of the PDP on that ruling? And of course, the question is, are you going to approach the court to dispute that ruling?
Well, the import of against colleague, so as it were, is simply that there was no any sitting by the National Working Committee as he clicked, and the National Working Committee was the one he quoted accepting the verdict of that judgment. First, we understand there is an appeal to that judgment, and the committee did not at any time sit. The last time he sat was about 3-4 months ago. So if in his individual capacity he spoke as to why that judgment should be adhered to, one would have understood. And speaking on behalf of Lucy as saying that it sat and it has accepted the verdict was what I tried to clarify. In any case, lately, Debo Ologunagba, my colleague, seemed to be speaking from both sides. You would recall he spoke recently position of the zonal chairman of the PDP and spoke contrary to what the position is in Ebonyi State. It was the same thing he did in the state of Imo, where Ugo Chinyere was said to have been suspended and later dismissed. You know, that was provided by our laws and processes. Just when the local government transmitted the development, you know, the development to the local government onward to the state, before the state could take the decision of conveying the development, you know, to the national, they went on air and said that that was not. He was that the NWC did not suspend Honorable Ugo Chinyere.
Okay.
The point one is trying to make is that what in your capacity as the publicity secretary, for which he is entitled, that he should clarify and say this is my personal opinion. But lately it has been informed by sentiment and driven and beclouded by reasoning. You know, and so the NWC has not at any time approved that position, had not taken that stand that Debo seemed to be presenting. Let me butt in a bit because of our time. Which is exactly what I tried to clarify. And
Mr. Abdullahi, just permit me because of time. I mean, I wanted to get you the position of PDP. Are you heading to court to appeal that judgment since you disagree with the position of Debo Ologunagba? That's one. And quickly, this case has drawn attention to the internal politics of the PDP. You know, there's now what people know as the Anyaun secretaryship faction and the Okoye faction secretaryship as well. There's also, you know, the Damagun chairmanship faction and, of course, the anti-Damagun group. What do you suppose is the way forward for the party administratively as we prepare for future elections? Quickly now as we wrap up.
Well, first of all, we are not the ones to appeal national headquarters. At our disposal is an information to that effect that the River State chapter has already appealed that judgment. And so we are yet as a party at the national level to even receive the judgment. You know, therefore we will not be in the position to speak for it. And that was the part that Debo was not. Now, there's nothing like national secretary faction in the PDP. What we do have is the court order now, you know, instructed the PDP not to take any action against the office of the national secretary. This time, Senator Sam Anyaun. There's this first order that I told you of interim injunction by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. It's restraining the 6 respondents from the National Chairman, National Working Committee, the Board of Trustees, and the Deputy National Secretary, and any of its agents or privies from taking any action against the operation of the office of the National Secretary by the person of the Senator Sam Anyaun. And that same order, stay of execution order, seemed to affirm the same judgment. So we just try to clarify, you know, the confusion out there. There's no faction in the PDP. We are united. We are Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagun, and the National Secretary at this minute that I speak with you is Senator Sam Anyaun, according to the court, because of course until the hearing and the determination of the appeal, which is before the Supreme Court. In any case, this is coming in, the hearing will be coming by the 26th, 27th, 28th of January. So we are only admonishing faithfuls of the party and all of those people at daggerheads to sheath their sword and allow the PDP and give it a breather. What I try to do on the instruction of the NWC is to clarify the air and make the public, members of the public, understand that there's no confusion in the party. Yes, we are facing little challenges, but these are in-house challenges. And of course, these courts have stepped in. So it's only behoven on us to act and adhere to the rulings of this court. So that's just the simple situation here.
Abdullahi Ibrahim, Deputy Publicity Secretary, thank you so much for your time on Newsnight.